it's Dawn from Ninja Bunny Crochet. Today we're going to do these adorable little butterfly appliques. These are a great scrap busting project. You use very little yarn with them, so you can just use up whatever you have in your scrap bin. I believe I used mostly Red Heart Super Saver. It doesn't really matter what yarn that you use as long as your crew colors match. I used an acrylic worsted weight yarn, so you do not have to use an acrylic yarn, but I would recommend using a worsted weight yarn for this project. You're going to need a H 5.0 millimeter hook, and you will also need an F 3.75 millimeter hook. Those are for the antennas. A yarn needle to weave in your ends, a pair of scissors, and if you need stitch markers, because we're working in the round, you might want to have some of those on hand as well. So once you have all your supplies together, let's get started. To start the butterfly, we're going to start with the body. We're going to start with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Slip stitch into that first chain that you made to form a ring. You can use the magic ring technique for this. However, I found that using this technique is much easier for this project. Chain 1, and we're going to place our first round completely into the ring. 3 half double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do 3 double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and slip stitch into the ring. Chain 1. You might just slide your stitches over. And now we're going to do the same thing in reverse order. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, then 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Again, you might just slide your stitches over so that you can have room for them. We're going to slip stitch into that first half double crochet that we made. So just get your hook right in there and slip stitch. Go ahead and chain 1, flip your work over, grab that tail, just give it a tug. Close up that ring. And we're going to fasten off, leaving a length of tail so that we can sew it. And that is the first piece. Make 2 more of these for your body. I'm going to go ahead and work on those, and I'll be right back. Once you have your 3 pieces done, we're going to sew the circle closed. So just get your yarn needle, thread it up, and work it under some of those stitches. Just like that. And you can go ahead and clip that piece off. And take your tail. And we're going to we're going to sew these 3 pieces together. So they're going to be like this, with 1 on top and 2 on the bottom. So like I come up from the middle, down, and just put stitches in there. Just like that, put a few stitches in. And put one over here on the side. And kind of weave it over so it goes over onto the other side. And put one over on this side too. Just like that. And then you're going to do the same on the bottom. Okay, now that we have our body sewn together, we're going to work our antennas. I'm going to switch over to our F hook, 3.75, and we're going to go ahead and slip stitch on where the top of the head rounds. I'm going to grab that stitch and just slip stitch right onto it. And chain 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we're going to go 4th chain from hook. The loop on our hook does not count as a stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And go ahead and slip stitch. And slip stitch into each one of those chains. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch right back into that same stitch that we joined with and fasten off. Now I happen to leave quite long tails, but you don't really need to leave that long of tails because you're just going to weave those in. I just usually like to leave long tails so I have a long enough tail to work with. So we're going to go ahead and repeat that for the other side. You can start with a slip knot on your hook. Go to that where it's rounded. Slip stitch on and chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Slip stitch to the 4th chain from hook. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And slip stitch in each chain down. So that's 1, 2, and 3. and slip stitch back into that same stitch that you joined on, and fasten off. And there's our antennas. And let me just grab these little ends here. Once you get all your ends woven in, you'll be able to really see those antennas come out. So we're going to go ahead and get all those ends woven in, and we're going to come back and do the eyes. Okay, now the ends are all woven in, and we're going to take a little bit of black yarn, and we're going to create a couple of eyes. Now you just do a little stitch for an eye. And come over and make a second eye. And there you have your eyes. Very easy to do. Next we'll work on the wings, and then we'll be finished. To start the wings, we're going to start them off just like we did the head and the body, with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Slip stitch into the first chain that you made to form a ring. Chain 1, and we're going to go with 3 half double crochets into the ring. So 1, 2, and 3. And 3 double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1, slip stitch into the ring, chain 1, and we're going to repeat that in the reversed order. So we're going to do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Slide the stitches over, and 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Slip stitch into that first half double crochet that you made, and that ends round 1. To start round 2, chain 1 and half double crochet back into that same stitch that you just slip stitched into, and we're going to half double crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. Double crochet into the next, 3 double crochets into the next. 1, 2, and 3, and 2 double crochets into the next. 1 and 2. Chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch into that slip stitch from the previous round. chain 1, and we're going to do the same thing on this side that we did on this side, just in the reversed order. So 2 double crochets, in the first stitch, 3 double crochets in the next, two and 3, one in the next, and then our last 3 remaining stitches are half double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And we have a yarn monster following me here. Okay, yarn monster has been eliminated, and we're going to slip stitch into that that first half double crochet that we made, and we're going to change colors. So let's pull up the new color. Normally I would tie these ends together, but with such a small piece, I'm not going to do that. We're going to chain 1. I'm going to go ahead and work over that tail. So we're going to start round 3, we're going to go ahead and work a half double crochet back into the same stitch that we just slip stitched into. And work a half double crochet into the next 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Double crochet into the next, 3 double crochet into the next, 1, 2, and 3, and 2 double crochet into the next. Chain 1 and slip stitch into the slip stitch from the previous round. Chain 1, and we're going to repeat that again in the reverse order around on the other side. So first stitch is 2 double crochets. 1, 2. Next stitch is 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Then 1 double crochet into the next. And the remaining 6 stitches are half double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to slip stitch into the first half double crochet that we made and fasten off. Make sure you leave a long tail for sewing. Straighten out your wing, just like we did with our body. You're going to sew down your center and weave in your ends. I'll be right back and show you how to sew your wings on. Here is our butterfly. I've got one wing sewn on. Thread up your yarn needle. I come up from the center and under the stitch into the wing. To make my first initial stitch. And just a matter of coming up like this and going down under the stitches when I'm stitching the wing on, so to hide the stitches. Just like that. To stitch the wing on. Once you go down this way, you're going to make sure that you go back up this way as well to get your wing on. I'm going to continue stitching this on and I'll be right back. So here are the completed butterflies. Wings all sewn on. So if you've liked this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ring that bell so you won't miss any of my tutorials. Thanks for watching and happy crocheting! Bye-bye!